Welcome to another video, guys. The new stats are out, and now we can see what the real best decks in Hearthstone are right now. Less than 2 days have passed, but HSReplay Premium already has some great decks for you guys to be checking out. So in this video I'm gonna give you a quick guide about all of those 5 best decks, talk about mulligans, win rates, and general tips so you know what you could be expecting with, as well as what you should be expecting against them. But I'm also gonna check out all of the other working archetypes for each individual class, so stick around to the end. HSReplay Premium is doing giveaways, and I will be giving away an HSReplay Premium for 1 month for free for one of the lucky viewers, and all you gotta do is like, subscribe, and leave a comment what your favorite deck in the new Hearthstone meta is. I will draw the winner live on stream next Tuesday. Now, let's get into the decks.
You are not prepared!
Well, the first deck on the list is actually gonna be Hog Demon Hunter. With all the quest pallies out there, Hog Demon Hunter definitely has a pretty good time because they have a lot of good early game pressure as well as a lot of healing with the help of Ball Hog, of course. This particular variant is a little bit different from what we're used to seeing. We do have the new card Infestation, which gets you 2 1-cost Garishi Stingers, each of which deals 2 damage and summons you a 2/1 Grub Witch Rush. We're also having Living Flame in here, which draws you a fire spell, and the fire spells you have in here would be Hot Coals, which again do sound pretty important in this meta. And the other new card in here we have is Insect Claw, which again is revolving around the Grubs with Rush. Other than that, the deck is pretty aggressive. It has all of the good paint package with Acupuncture, with Arana, with Hot Coals, that kind of stuff. And you also have the Ball Hogs for healing, a lot of extra damage with things like Spirit of the Claw, early game minions like Battle Fiend and Sock Puppet. You still have your weapon to find your Quillboars faster. All around a very familiar deck, not exactly very new. We're no longer running the 5-freeze in here. I guess they were a little bit on the slow side, but they also might make a comeback if the meta slows down a little bit. For the matchups you're gonna see, you are gonna be great against Quest Paladins, so I guess this is the main selling point for this deck, but you're also great against everything else right now, including Low Druid, so absolutely crushing the meta with this thing right now, huh? As for the mulligan, here's what the stats are showing going first. You are gonna be looking for your good 1-drops, obviously. The weapon is great, Spirit of the Team, Living Flame, Grim Harvest for card draw, the new weapon Insect Claw. Infestation apparently is also a little bit higher on the keep list, the rest probably not so hot. On the coin, the situation is pretty much similar, so yeah, mulligan accordingly. HSReplay has updated their UI, it seems, which I'm not a huge fan of, if I gotta be completely honest. Especially since it works horribly on the dark theme, so I'm gonna have to use the white theme here. A little bit jarring, but it is what it is. Anyway, here's what it is. This is the list I'm showing you. Absolutely insane win rate, not gonna lie. 1200 games, 68% win rate. We can also see Pain Demon Hunter is up there. Menagerie Demon Hunter is interesting. Again, this is with the Hog, but also Ravenous Fellhound, so that's kind of cool. And it does look a little bit different from what we're used to seeing. I don't know, it's probably also not a bad idea. But the classic Hog Demon Hunter apparently not that hot. I'm actually surprised to see this. On the number 2 spot, we have Fishing Priest with very big sample size and crazy win rate as well. And yeah, it's no shock. Basically, when a new meta emerges, things like quick decks like Fishing Priest are always gonna do well. And yeah, this is not a shock. Like every time there's a new meta, things like Fishing Priest really pop off because they're just nice, fast, and refined. This list is using a few new cards in the form of the new legendary Arceus, which is not a staple, I'd say, but he definitely makes the deck a lot more sticky than it's supposed to. And we're also having the new card Resuscitate, and this thing is absolutely broken. Like especially in Protoss Priest, I tried this, it was super good. And with all of the good minions in this deck, getting Resuscitate on 5, absolutely broken if you already have it loaded up with 3 minions. You do have a lot of the classic staple cards for Menagerie Priest, so your Drug can actually pop off nicely. You still have the Fishing Rods, and you do have some good Death Rattle minions in here, like the Workhorse, which if you revive it is gonna be absolutely busted. Reviving Shadow Ascendant would be pretty nice. Reviving Catch of the Day with Reborn would be really nice as well. So yeah, all around the deck definitely looks pretty powerful, very hard to deal with. Matchup-wise, we actually have tons of stats, and look at this. You are actually gonna be great against things like Quest Pally, so again, big selling point over there. And again, great against things like Low Druid, again, huge selling point. You're not gonna be very great against a lot of the Death Knights, however. Protoss Mage apparently on the under, and some of the Warriors are gonna be a problem. I did see plenty of Warriors in the first few hours of the new expansion, but if those tone down, this deck should be crazy good right now. Going first, you are gonna be holding on to your good early game game minions so you can curve off. Orbital Halo, if positioned against something you're going to be playing early, is also going to be great. The Fishing Rod, always great. Some of the imbue package cards are also pretty decent. Papercraft Angel could be interesting, but if you already don't have a good imbue, I would not be holding on to this. So I'd only hold on to this if I already have a turn 1, a turn 2 imbue, and this for turn 3 so I can use the imbue. On the coin, we can see plenty of the same stuff, so you can actually curve off nice and quick. So yeah, that's about it. For other good priest decks, this is the one I'm showing you. 64% win rate for the last couple of days, 10,000 games, kinda broken. We're gonna have to scroll a while to see something other than Fishing Priest, but Bandage Priest is actually something as well. This deck definitely looked like a meme when I first saw it, but apparently it's not that bad. With the new Wilted Shadow, you could be doing some nasty stuff apparently. Protos Priest, the one I actually showed you, is doing very well as well. Not as great as the others, but very, very playable, and I did enjoy playing this one quite a lot, I can tell you that much. So far, however, Quest Priest, absolute joke. On number 3 spot, we have Menagerie Death Knight, and this is looking quite similar to what we have been used to seeing from back in the day. It is literally the exact same Frost Unholy Death Knight list, card for cards. Again, basically, decks like this just thrive in early game metas. I did say this deck is gonna remain strong, same as Fishing Priest. I did also say Hog Demon Hunter. That one actually took a turn for the worst, but it quickly found a better thing, so can't say no to that, I guess. But yeah, right now this Frost Unholy Death Knight is doing crazy good as well. So if you had this before and you want to be climbing some easy ranks and you want to be saving your dust, this would be the way to go. Definitely great in the current meta. Just check out my latest guide about this thing, no need to go over it too much. We all know this deck far too well at this point. You either play it or play tons against it, nothing in between. So yeah, let's just move down to the matchups and see how the situation is looking like. And you're gonna notice Quest Pally is gonna be going under you, and so would Low Druid, so pretty great stuff. Those are the two real main contenders in the meta right now. They're super popular, so if you're beating those, you're probably climbing. Fishing Priest is on the 50-50, so you can't say no to that either. Let's check out the updated mulligan stats, and really nothing has changed. You still just try to curve off with your good 1-2-3s, and if you already have a couple of good cards for the early turns, Horde of Winter might also be a consideration. When going second, the situation is not much different, so now you know what to do. Here's the list I'm showing you. 1,200 games, almost 63% win rate, nothing to scoff at for sure. And we're gonna have to scroll quite a lot to see anything different. No, actually, Space Death Knight is actually still quite up there, nice and slow. It does run the new Elise in there, so that would be kind of refreshing, but all around the deck is pretty much same stuff. We can also see things like Leech Death Knight not doing far too well, and Quest Death Knight, again, absolute joke so far. On number 4 spot, you guys didn't think I'm gonna do a top 5 about the new expansion without including Quest Pally now, did ya? And to be fair, I mean, the stats are just there. Why wouldn't they be? Anyway, this is currently the best performing Murloc Pally, but to be fair, you can go very different than this and still have very similar results. Like, slap any good Murlocs in the deck and you're gonna have great results for the most part. Right now, this one does just seem to be having the biggest sample size with the biggest win rate so far. You're gonna notice we do have some interesting inclusions, like a couple of Cold Light Seers, which I never really thought would be getting great results in the current meta, but apparently making your Murlocs even stickier, kinda good. We also have Grunty in here, a little bit on the greedy side if you ask me. From all the games I did with Murloc Pally, I never really got that great of a Grunty play, but the high roll is there, especially comboed off with Hot Springs. Like, you do this on turn 4, and on turn 5 this thing costs 6 mana with the coin. Kinda crazy to be having that. Not to mention you could be getting yourself a Tyrannogill out of him, but it's way too random for it to be consistent. Other than that, the rest of the deck looks pretty standard stuff again. I did do a quick guide about this in the first hour of the new expansion, so you can go ahead and check that one out. And you might want to see how the games went as well. This one also is running the new Rock Skipper, which definitely sounds like a good card to include, but it's kinda hard cutting stuff out of this deck, cause a lot of good Murlocs out there, what can I say. We can check out the matchups here, and you're gonna notice Fishing Priest is actually absolutely wrecking you. The Hog Demon Hunter I showed you is also slightly under 50 here, and same with Menagerie Death Knight, but you're gonna be great against Quest Mages if you find some. In the mirror, apparently you're better than most. Imbue Pally is going under, and Low Druid also not that hot, for them at least. For the mulligan, you're obviously gonna be trying to get yourself some good early game Murlocs. Things like the Tide Hunter, like Mermy, Gnawing, Violet Treasure Gill, Murloc Tidecaller. Honestly, anything with a curve makes enough sense. Only keep Hot Springs if you already have a guaranteed turn 2 play for a Murloc though, so you can actually activate that Kindred. Going second, you're still looking for your cheap Murlocs, so there's nothing really special about going first or second for this one. For other good pally lists, this is the one I'm showing you, 2100 games, 61% win rate almost. We can also see another version of Quest Pally. Similar results really, this one is utilizing the double Kindred with the Challenger. And yeah, just plenty of iterations of Quest Pally. We're gonna have to go quite low to see where Imbue Pally is actually sitting, and it's sitting at 51%. A lot of people were saying Imbue Pally still would be king. Well, don't you feel silly now? Either way, let's move down to the next class. Last but not least, again, could not go in a top 5 meta report without the other monster of a deck that just came out, which will be Low Druid. And Low Druid absolutely busted. Like, the high roll this deck can be doing kinda crazy, and I do believe if people played this thing a little bit better, the stats would be even crazier for it. It could curve out like dog water, don't get me wrong, some games are predetermined and there's nothing you can do about changing their outcome, but a lot of the time you can really skyrocket the acceleration this deck could be having in order for them to actually pop off super fast. So I do advise you to check out my guide about this deck from yesterday, so you guys know how you can be playing it better, as well as what to expect against it. This particular variant is also running things like Astral Phaser, and this is gonna help you with the dormant stuff. We only have a single trail mix, which kinda sounds wrong if I gotta be honest. And we also have things like Therac, things like Xavius in here, so you can actually find your low even more consistently. But we're no longer running Elise, and honestly I'm not against that. Elise felt a little bit clunky if I gotta be honest, even though you have no reason not to include Elise in here. You do have several different mana totals, so it's very easy to get the 10 required for Elise to work, but she's just a little bit on the clunky side. You don't really have any amazing payoffs out of her, and spending your turn 4 and 5 to actually be doing Elise things definitely felt a little bit on the wrong side. Either way, the deck is crazy strong. You just want to curve off a low as soon as you can on turn 4, on turn 5, that kind of stuff, and after that you follow up with 0 mana Ceaseless Expanse, 0 mana Playhouse Giants, 5 mana carriers, that kind of thing. Matchup wise, not that much stats for this particular variant, but as you see, Fishing Priest not gonna be your friend, Quest Pally is on the 50-50, but you're actually gonna be better than most other Low Druids. Not that much sample size for this one, it's just shy away from 1000 games, but definitely looks very promising in this iteration. Going first and second, low is always gonna be something you are gonna have to hold on to. New Heights obviously always great, Arcanite Revelation pretty decent, Trail Mix also pretty good. Again, begging the question, why would you be running a single of this if it's so good on the mulligan? Amidra still pretty decent, Story of Burnab is also good, and Lord Xavius again helps you find your low a lot quicker, but if you already have low, maybe do not hold on to him. Innervate might also be a consideration, and same can be said for Reforestation. On the coin, again, low, ramp, card draw, and other ways to find low basically. This is the list I'm showing you, 58% win rate, 770 games, and we have several different iterations of similar decks. But the big sample size one would be sitting at 55.6 right now, and it's looking pretty similar to the list I just showed you, honestly. It does have one more trail mix instead of Forest Lord Cenarius, apparently, which is, I guess, but yeah, definitely the Low Druids are very strong out there. You can see several different iterations of them. Alas, the token Druid I showed you still hasn't picked up at all, so I don't know, maybe it's not as strong as I initially thought. Maybe the Fishing Priest and Hog Demon Hunters are a little bit too strong for it, but definitely felt strong to me, guys, so you might want to give it a try if you want to play something that apparently the meta still is not picking up. For the classes we haven't mentioned, starting off with Hunter, we can see things like Buff Hunter are still decent, 54.5% win rate. I am assuming this deck is gonna return in the meta quite nicely, because there's nothing really that handles big men like this all that well, so definitely something to look out, but for now the Quest Hunter definitely sounds like a joke. For Mage, nothing amazing is happening for Mage. I really thought that quest would allow Mage to be back on the map, but so far that seems to be a dream. There were iterations of Minion Quest Mage, Spell Quest Mage, but none of them have been picking up. The meta has been calling them, but they seem to have been busy. For Rogue, Maxibon actually hit rank 1 Legend with a version of Cycle Rogue, so that's definitely interesting. But also, it is not an easy deck to be piloting well for most, so be careful trying too hard with that one. Weapon Rogue right now does not look great, and so far Quest Rogue is not on the map, but let's give it some time. I do believe it needs a little bit time to cook. Shaman so far is absolutely off the map, so we are going to have to give it a little bit more time on the updated top 5 meta report I will be giving you guys in a few days, so let's be on the lookout for that one. Same can be said for Warlock apparently, and last but not least this time for a change, Warrior has been seeing a lot of play, but but so far it is absolutely dumb. Wow, I did not expect to see this much rate for Warrior. I was actually expecting to see several 55-ish% win rates. Like, the Quest Warrior is not a win condition of its own to be running the quest, but I definitely thought the quest actually does allow it to do some nutty stuff. I tried the deck yesterday and it did feel decent, but so far the stats are not covering that one. So that's gonna be it for this top 5, guys. Hope this helps you figure out what you want to be playing in the first few days of the new meta. Don't forget, crafting too much right now would be a bad idea because we are expecting to see some nerfs, and I would say contenders would be Murloc Pally, Low Druids, and maybe some of the aggressive decks like Hog Demon Hunter and Fishing Priest, so be careful crafting too much. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, like and subscribe would be awesome, and don't forget you can have some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching, I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.